ladies and gentlemen, faculty, staff, students, and distinguished guests. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the University of Virginia's College at Wise 2013 December Recognition of Graduate Ceremony. The spirit of today's ceremony is focused on the commencement of these graduates and their futures. We're delighted that you're here as we celebrate our graduates' remarkable achievements.
So let me take a minute to do something that we may not have done enough already, and that's to tell you how much you impress us. You probably already know this, but what you've accomplished is kind of a big deal. Even in normal circumstances, graduating from college is a great achievement, and chances are, if you're graduating in December, your circumstances aren't normal. Maybe you took a little longer than some of your peers, maybe you're graduating before them. Either way, you chose the road less taken, and that impresses us. You impress us when you have a full course load and a part-time job to pay for it. You impress us when you balance raising your own family with the responsibilities of being a student. You impress us when you make sacrifices to stay closer to your relatives or to help them through difficult times.
But life is a short journey in which tomorrow is not promised. So I please urge you all to make the most of every breath, every step, and every moment, every memory you can while you still have the chance. As long as you never stop dreaming and believing in yourself, the world will never give up on you.
By earning your bachelor's degree, you have already set foot on a pathway that prepares you to be leaders and innovators. You can stay on that path by continuing your education after you've left the classroom behind. Read books, ask questions, seek out the company of interesting and accomplished people. Rise to the challenge. I hope you will do these things because I want you to cultivate and benefit from the intellectual foundations you have received here at UVa-Wise. Here's what I hope you take away from your education. 3 mental characteristics that you will need and which I hope you will continue to cultivate. Number 1, adaptability. I'm talking about the intellectual flexibility and mental agility to recognize new conditions and adapt to them. First of all, you and your responsibilities will change. Whatever you expect to be doing next year, I can almost guarantee that it won't be what you're doing 20 years from now. But I've been teaching for 37 years, so hey, and I love what I do. That's where you may begin, but life has a habit of taking you in unexpected directions. Take my word, 20 years from now, you could be a manager or an administrator, a salesperson, a fundraiser, a teacher, a researcher, business person, an advocate or an activist, a writer, a webmaster, or a legislator. Maybe even a minister, a priest, or a rabbi. It's not far-fetched that someday soon you might find yourself responsible for a multi-million-dollar budget or overseeing the construction of a new building. Wouldn't that be nice? Multi-million-dollars. The second mental characteristic I hope you would take with you from college is intellectual and personal integrity. The whole of the Western intellectual project is based on Socrates' simple assertion that one cannot be virtuous if one is not aware. It's important that you do the right thing, but the right action is not always self-evident. So it's important that you are always thinking about the issues of right and wrong. When you are out in the work world, you'll discover that all your professional relations are conditioned by integrity and that all healthy institutions are built on trust. Your bosses need to trust you. Always remember that a good boss will forgive an honest mistake, but broken trust is difficult or often almost impossible to repair. In the same way, those who work for you also need to trust you. They need to know that you won't steal the credit for their initiatives or let them take the fall for your mistakes. Likewise, your clients, your students, your patients, all will look to you for trust. Finally, the third intellectual attribute that I hope you take with you from the college is intellectual humility. It's a big, complex world. Simple expectations and quick solutions are often fundamentally flawed. It's important to be aware of the complexity of the world. Remember that you can never keep track of all the variables and know all the possibilities. I want you to look around you for accomplished people that you want to emulate. One thing they all have in common is that they are almost never narrow-minded thinkers. Business people need to understand not just their products and their market, but also a broader economic climate that is constantly changing. Political leaders have to take into account not just current public opinion, but also the complexities of the world and the sometimes incomprehensible effects that their decisions might have in the future. Even artists and musicians may look spontaneous and intuitive, but to do work that is meaningful, they need to have a concept and understand the historical and environmental context of their work. Truly accomplished people don't just know a lot of things, they're aware of how much they do not know. I encourage you to approach problems with humility, respect the opinions of others, and be open to the fact that they may have insights that you have missed. Be patient with others. None of us are perfect. Don't rush to take offense. People are not always going to agree with you or do what you want them to do. And please don't ever take things so personal. I think that's where sometimes we get lost, is when we take it personal. The ability to appreciate the complexity of the world and to approach its challenges with humility, that is an important gift. It's one that distinguishes many great leaders. It's one that you can cultivate. In a different era, we might have called it wisdom. And speaking of wisdom, this is something I always love to send my graduates out with from school. And it's by Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Ben Carson is a pediatric neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins Medical Institute. And when he was in the 5th grade, he called himself dumb. Because he really wasn't learning. And so his mother encouraged him to read, to write reports, and by the time Ben was in the 7th grade, he thought he was smart. So by the time Ben graduated, he was a brainiac. So this is what Dr. Ben Carson's philosophy of education is: to think big. T is for talent. Use the talent that God gave you to elevate other people. H is for honesty. Lead a clean and honest life. I is for insight, which comes from listening to people. N is for nice. Be nice to people. They'll be nice to you. K is for knowledge, the thing that makes you a more valuable person. B is for books, the mechanism for obtaining knowledge. I is for in-depth learning, learning for the sake of knowledge and understanding as opposed to superficial learning. And G is for God. Godly principles including loving your fellow man, caring about your neighbor, developing your God-given talent to the utmost so that you become valuable to people around you, and having self-values. That's the end of my advice to you, and I hope that you leave UVa-Wise with new skills and broader ambitions. I also hope that you take with you those essential attributes of educated people: adaptability, integrity, and humility. That will truly set the tempo for you to do great and wonderful things in this world. Again, thank you for the honor of addressing you at such an important time in your lives. Congratulations on your accomplishments, and my best wishes for your bright future that lies ahead. Thank you.
For years, these students have persevered in their studies and now are ready to claim this distinction and receive baccalaureate degrees. They have demonstrated to the satisfaction of the faculty the hallmarks of educated people: a capacity to think clearly and creatively, the ability to express their thoughts effectively, the character necessary to live as active and responsible citizens, and the intellectual curiosity to continue their own education beyond the university. It is a great honor for me, on behalf of the faculty, to present to you the Fall 2013 graduating class for the conferring of their degrees.
And on behalf of the University of Wise Alumni Association, I am honored to congratulate each one of you on your completion of your degree requirements.